1 second, I'll be right back. Let's see here. Yeah. Peace. I said, peace. All right. Peace. Good people. All right. Almost there. Just bear with me. We getting on track. Today. I am about to get a cup of water. 1 second. Be right back. Give me a couple more minutes. Give it. There we go. Got an interesting class today. How do you date as a Moor? What are we talking about? Rami, what are we talking about? Let's see here. I'm gonna play some real quick. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, you found a zone for it. Yeah, babe, what's happening? Hey, little shotty. Hey, little shotty. Little shotty. Flow with me. Hey, damn. Oh, wait, little shotty, she a body. Oh, wait, little shotty got a fatty. Oh, wait, yeah. But show shotty some respect. The shotty, she the truth, so you gotta come correct. Hold up, hey, little shotty, she a body. Oh, wait, oh. Little shawty got a fatty, oh wait, yeah. Show shawty some respect. Shawty she the truth. Hey, now, little shawty like a goddess. And she be showing off her body, but she still keep it modest. So, the shawty hella fine. But see, it's deeper than the body. Let me talk about her mind. Hey, little shawty got the knowledge. Little shawty educated, but I ain't just talking college. She got knowledge of herself. Oh, yeah. Little shawty know the truth. When she talk, she is felt. Hey, when I see her be like, shawty, you know I love your vibe when you look into my eyes. Yeah. Take me to the zone. Make me wanna love your soul. Shawty, hey, little shawty is a baddie. Oh wait, yeah. Little shawty got a fatty. Oh wait, yeah. But show shawty some respect. The shawty is the truth, so you gotta cook around. Hold up, hey. Little shawty is a baddie. Hey, little shawty got a fatty. Oh wait, show shawty some respect. The shawty is the truth, so you gotta cook around.
Alright. Peace, 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 peace. I got myself together. I hope you're doing great on this beautiful Wednesday. Let me turn this music off. Boom. Turn this music off. Peace, 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 peace. Quick question. Peace, Blaylock L. How did you get introduced to Moor signs? Cool. I can start with that. Peace. My name is Rami L. Thank you for tapping in and joining us. Before we get started on the topic, how do you date as a Moor? I'll answer that question. I got introduced to Moor science because I was out in Occupy Wall Street some years ago in a protest, and I was just I was interested in learning. I bumped into this dude who was saying he was a Freemason, and he showed me his Mason badge and ring and all this stuff. Um, and I wasn't too interested. I heard about it, but I was just like whatever. And then he had said, "Well, wait a minute. Do you know about the black people that ruled Europe for 800 years?" And when he said that to me, I was like, "Nah, what are you talking about?" And so he's like, "Yeah, you ain't never heard about the Moors?" And so boom, from there, I emailed the Moors to myself because I never heard about it from that point. And this was like 2012-ish, somewhere around there, maybe 11-ish. Um, and I went home, looked up the Moors. I was like, oh wow, and then stumbled on to Taj Tariq Bey. You know what I mean? Stumbled on to I'll drop the video in there if I can find it. It was this like 3 hour. This is 3 hour video. There you go. Divine warning. Divine warning for the black nation. Oh my goodness. I tell you, when I watched this video, I dropped that in the chat for you. But I watched that video, and I remember being at work and pausing it maybe 30 minutes in and having to go take a walk because it was too much for my head. But from there, I studied some more, looked at the Noble Drew Ali, and you know the rest is history. So that's how I got introduced to Moor science. Just seeking the truth, wanting to understand what was going on in this world, and just figure things out. But today, this video is about an interesting topic. How do you date as a Moor? And man, just keep it real with y'all. This is something that I was been reflecting on and working to figure out for myself. And I was kind of at a loss. I didn't really have an answer. I'm like, I don't really know how you're supposed to go about this. You know what I mean? How, as Moorish Americans, do you date? You know what I mean? Are you supposed to date? And then I hit up, you know, because I hit up a good brother of mine, this Muslim, piece of Bobby. You know, and I'm familiar with Islam in the East, or in the more traditional sense, I would say. Dating isn't really permissible from the little bit that I understood. So I was like, you know, I was kind of torn, like, man, because in our Quran it says we're supposed to be returning to Islam, but in Islam you're not supposed to date. So how does that work? How do you go from just being interested in someone to just saying, yeah, let's get married? You know, and that kind of had me stuck. So part of me even doing this was to put it out there in the universe, in hopes that if other people have more wisdom, they could drop it in the comments section. They can add on, you know, so that we could gain a better understanding, because I ain't got all the answers. I ain't got the answers. Word to God. But what I wanted to do though, let me roll it back. What was the thing I wanted? I wanted to highlight a couple of things. First, I think when I was thinking about this, one of the first things I was thinking on is that whoever you are as a Moor, you have to be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? That's first and foremost, and really figure out what it is that you want. You know what I mean? What it is that you're after. What are your intentions? Are you just trying to? That's what you after. Can you be honest enough and just say that? You know what I mean? Are you after a lifelong partner, or a husband or a wife, depending on man or woman? Um, are you looking for a friend and you want to test the water, see how it goes? Whatever it is, I would say the first and foremost thing is figuring. Well, no, first and foremost, that was the thing. First and foremost, you got to love yourself. Let me put that right out into the front. Got to love yourself before you can want to be with someone. You know what I mean? Want to try to make something happen. You know what I mean? Build a life with someone like that. I think it's very important that you know who you are and you love yourself first. Because if you don't know that, and if you ain't got that together, I feel like you're just gonna run into a lot of problems down the line. Um, so I think that was the first thing that I wanted to put out there. Um, yeah, and actually because that's what I tell my daughter. My daughter, Kate, watch this. She knows that I said, I've told her many times that you need to figure out, what your purpose is in life. You know what I mean? What are you here for? What it is that makes you happy at your core, that you feel fulfilled doing. And once you figure that out and you figure yourself out and you get on that path, I feel you'll align yourself or you'll meet the person that is willing and able to walk that path with you. Um, yeah. Peace, Megan Scott. Oh man, we got some good stuff here. Islam, we date with the mindset of being obligated to our future spouse. Yes, we are returning to Islamism, but that predates what we see today. Peace. I dig that. True indeed. Um, hmm. All right, boom. So, man, that's peace. Islam. I see we got some people in the chat. And please feel free, if you missed it before, feel free to add on your perspective, your wisdom, what you may be aware of. Because again, I do not have all the answers. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm the authority telling you what to do. Da 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 da. It's not like that at all. Um, really, it's I'm just share some of my experiences. Um, and I would say beyond knowing yourself and knowing your purpose, man, if I'm being honest with you, I feel as a Moor, one of the most crucial things, man, and I talked with a sister about this, is that the person that you are looking to date, I don't feel, I don't feel that it's a requirement or it's a necessity that they are more, if particularly if they're so-called black people. I don't feel it's a necessity that they call themselves a Moor or know about Moor science in order for you to date them. I do feel, I do feel that if they don't know their nationality or they're unwilling, or if they don't know their nationality or they're unwilling to even hear you out and learn about the nationality, I feel humbly that's a red flag. And let me take it a step back, actually. Um, for me, I grew up in the Bay Area. It's a lot of different nations and cultures out here. Um, you know, and in high school, I was trying to date, had a girlfriend that was Vietnamese. And it didn't end up working out because I wanted to take her to a fair. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go to the fair. Da da da. I'll come by your house, pick you up. And she's like, you can't do that because my parents, they don't like me dating black people. I was like, oh, ah. And I've heard that amongst different peoples from different nations and different cultures that they don't want their children, their son or daughter, dating a so-called black person. And initially, back then when I was younger, it just came off as racist and just bigoted, blah 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 blah. Now, having lived a bit more and understanding more about culture and nationality and the importance of that, I understand. I don't necessarily agree. I don't want to get it confused. I don't agree with it, but I understand why some parents don't want their children, if they're from India or whatever nation, they don't want them dating someone that's so-called black, because the disconnect with our culture and with nationality and just a severe lack of understanding. Um, and I just feel like it causes a lot of issues. Um, oh man, so bringing that forward, I'm not saying that if you're a Moor, if that person doesn't know that they're Moor, or if they're so-called black and they don't know that they're Moor, I'm not saying you can't date them, but I am saying I feel it'll be very difficult for it to work unless they're willing to learn. Because we also have to be mindful. We once was at that state as well. We once was at a point where we didn't know. Well, some of us did grew up knowing, but for myself and some other people, there was a time when we considered ourselves black too, and we didn't know about culture and the importance of nationality and history and heritage, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just something else to keep in mind. Uh, yeah, oh man, it's jumping. Peace, peace, peace. Let me acknowledge some people in here, man. Peace, C Mac. Peace, Jonathan Scott Bay. Peace, Imhotep Abdullah L. Let's see. Abdullah L. Intent is everything. Allah will see your intent and fulfill it. Come on now, that's a jewel right there. C-Mac, I just finished reading the book Finding Love After Heartbreak. What's your thoughts about? I've never heard of it. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick that one up. Oh my goodness. Um, there must be comparable vibrational energy. Jonathan Scott Bay. I'm gonna get back to comparable vibrational energy, but real quick. Did I know I was a Moor then? No, I didn't know at all. You know what I mean? I'm black and I'm proud. You know what I mean? The irony in all of that is that fast forward, she ended up marrying, and much love to them, but she ended up marrying a European man with the last name Moore. Oh, would you look at how a lot, man? Come on, man. I can't even make that up, man. I can't make that up. And do you think, I think it would have made a difference, honestly. I think it would have made a difference. And the reason I say that is because I can tell, I can tell how people from other nations treat me now. And it's completely, I don't want to say it's completely different, but it's much different than it was before I knew who I was, or before I knew about nationality and history and et cetera. So I do think it makes a big difference. And I think it's because when you recognize who you are, and when you understand that you're more in this illustrious history, you start to have more of a respect for other cultures and their history. Hence, this is why I got this tattoo here and this one here. This is Sanskrit, you know what I mean? And this is Hebrew. And this is Tibetan, you know what I mean? It just opens your mind, and you're able to appreciate different aspects of people's culture and history, etc. 1 second. This water. But getting back to the vibrational energy, the comparable vibrational energy. On that note, pull these up. Oh man, let me get that other book. One second. And shout out to the sister. Man, I need to do better and actually figure out what her name is, but I believe it is Wise Royalty on IG. Um, you know, her and some other sisters and people I've seen are really getting into astrology. Got this one here, The Definitive Guide to Using Astrology in Every Aspect of Your Life. Parker's Astrology, Julia and Derek Parker. The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need by Joanna Martine Woolfolk. Right there. But also, can't forget these. Bam, bam. Zodiacal View on You, Divine Law and Evolution of Man, How to Interpret Your Natal Chart, and The Psychology of Astrology. These are both from R.V. Bay publications. You know you got to put that on there. Vibrational energy. I think, on top of what I've already said, I think that studying astrology, which is the science to know yourself, I think, and it can also help you understand other people, I think is very important. And again, I don't think it is, I don't want people to feel like, oh, well, I'm a Libra, so I don't even know how it works, so forgive me, but I'm a Libra, so we can't date Cancers because such and such, and this house is in this one, so it's not possible for me to date you. I don't want it to come across in that sense and just so rigid and finite. I do think that I do feel and believe that knowing that science and understanding your chart, and also maybe the person you're interested in, understanding their sign, their signs, in their chart, what I mean, and maybe building on that, I think it helps with understanding, getting back to the person's point, about the comparable vibrational energy, because you may, after speaking with them and understanding their signs and where their planets and energies and all of that, you may understand, man, they are an amazing person, but I can see there's going to be some issues and we're just not going to work down the road. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing, is just being honest with yourself and being honest with the people you're interested in. You know what I mean? And having patience, not trying to force things. And that's, we can get into a little bit of the Quran in a second. Yeah, we'll get into the Quran and start seeing a couple more things real quick. I dated a Chinese girl from China years, and she was Muslim. That was very interesting. And I think my belief is that there was possibly or probably a level of understanding through Islam. Whereas I feel like when you're lacking the knowledge of yourself and you're lacking certain principles, it's really hard to gain a mutual understanding on things. Yes, and we do honor all divine prophets. True indeed. I've been a Moor for 46 years, and I only told 3 women in serious relationships that I was a Moor. Never dated a Moorish woman. That's interesting. That's interesting. But real quick, I wanted to share something about in the book here, because that was the thing, is that separate from this class, every Sunday, if you've been following along, I'm reading a chapter from the Quran each week, and right now we had just gone through the several chapters just kind of dealing about marriage and husband and duty of a husband and wife and those things. But as I was teaching, I was thinking to myself, dang, what about how do you get to that point to, to where you are ready to even try to take that walk as husband and wife, you know what I mean, or take it to that next level? What about getting to know the person? Is there anything in the Quran? Drew Ali, can you help me out, brother, please? And so I was really thinking about, what is, let me read it again. Let me go back. Let me have a little patience. Um, and so I looked this over, and I looked at the chapters again, and I look at chapter 21. Um, this one, it says marriage instructions from man and wife for the from the noble prophet. It says, "Give ear, fair daughter of love, to the instructions of prudence, and let the precepts of truth sink deep in thy heart. Um, in the spring of thy youth," so this is talking about when you're young, okay? "In the morning of thy days, when the eyes of men gaze on thee with delight, and nature whispereth in thy ear the meaning of their looks, hear with caution their seducing words, guard well thy heart, nor listen to their soft persuasions. Remember thou art made man's reasonable companion, not the slave of his passion. The end of thy being is not merely to gratify his loose desire, but to assist him in the toils of life, to soothe his heart with tenderness, and to recompense his care with soft endearments. Who is she that winneth the heart of man?" So, this is talking about, and it goes on to give some qualities of women, of a woman that can win the heart of a man. So it's like, okay, that is some qualities that you should look for before you are trying to really pursue them, as a man, anyways. But then in the chapter before, holy instructions and warnings for all young men, it says, "Beware young men." So again, talking about young men. "Beware of all the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. The madness of desire shall defeat its own pursuits." Mm. Now this is some poetic language, but I'm feeling like it's kind of hinting to, don't you give me, you know what I mean? Don't you move too fast on young lady. Take your time, young fella. Take your time, or else you go crazy. Come on now. Young, you know what I'm talking about, young man out there. And then it says, "Therefore give not up thy heart to her sweet enticements, neither suffer thy soul to be enslaved by her enchanting delusions." Um, then a little bit further it says, "When virtue, modesty enlighten her charms, the luster of a beautiful woman is brighter than the stars of heaven." And goes on. Then it says, "Shut not thy bosom to the tenderness of love." Um, so it's giving you some precepts of, what to look for before you get to that point. Um, but it's when I was looking through here, maybe if you out there and a line in the Quran where it's talking about it, feel free to drop it. But I was looking, I didn't quite see, any clear cut guidance on how to date per se, and that really got me to thinking. Oh shit! Well, got me to thinking. Well, what is dating? It's the dictionary. I said, well, why don't you look the word up, bro? You never looked the word up, did you? True indeed. You know what I mean? So I said, well, let me look it up. Um, date. Date, it says informal, a social or romantic appointment or engagement. Uh, and a little bit further, it says, informal, go out with someone in whom one is romantically or sexually interested. Ah, getting real. So then I said, well, that gets back to that truth, part of the 5 principles. That truth, man. What you mean, Rami? Well, what are you in it for? What are your intentions? And actually, that's a question that, oh man, I don't even remember who I was speaking to, but it was a sister that I was speaking to, and she was saying that I should ask people what are their intentions with me. And I was like, man, I've never asked that question before. You know what I mean? I seriously thought about it. I was like, that is a great question. And I think um, if you're really interested in someone, you should ask them straightforward, not in a mean or a antagonistic or interrogative way, but just honestly wanted to know, like, what are your intentions? What are you really after? Um, you know, and listen closely. You know what I mean? Truly listen to the answer. Don't hear what you want to hear. Don't get caught up in uh, your fantasies of what could be. You know what I mean? Of your illusions. You know what I mean? Of what you think that may be. Really listen to what they're saying, and then move accordingly. You know what I mean? If their intentions, um, I'm not really looking for anything serious right now. If you are looking for something serious, then you need to, hey, I'm gonna go this way. Much love to you. You ain't gotta be disrespectful, but just understand that's not the person for you, and be okay with that. That's what that patience, man. You gotta have that patience. Oh man. Ooh, I see. Jerry Blaze Bay. I think the problem is we see with two eyes instead of the third eye, and assume attraction is physical or based on good looks. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Let me double back to the chapter. That is one thing that I can say. Thank you for saying that. Oh, man. Boom. In duty of a husband, it's talking about taking unto thyself a wife. But before you do, it says, examine with care and fix not suddenly. Meaning, don't be anxious to say, oh man, I need a wifey. Don't what? Slow your roll, player. Slow your roll, because your present choice depends on thy present choice depends thy future happiness. And it goes into a whole lot of things on what you should be careful and avoid if you see. But I'm not gonna focus on that. What I do want to focus on is, it says, when thou findest sensibility of heart, joined with softness of manners, and an accomplished mind, with a form agreeable to thy fancy, take her home to thy house. She is worthy to be thy friend, thy companion in life, the wife of thy bosom. The reason that line is so important to me is because it lists these four qualities, but it doesn't inform agreeable to thy fancy. Is really talking about the physical. You know what I mean? How bad you feel. But it doesn't start off with the physical attraction first, and that's something that when I read this over, I said, that's powerful in this, and I think that's intentional. I don't think that's by accident or by happenstance that it says sensibility of heart first. That's first and foremost, the sensibility of the person's heart. Then their manners, how they act, their actions. Then their mind. And then, after all of that, and then how they looking. You know what I mean? They got me. But joking, but I'm serious that to your point about we see with two eyes instead of the third eye. I think that if we started um, analyzing people from this perspective, seeing how their heart is, are they a kind, are they a compassionate person? Do they say thank you and please? You know what I mean? Are they always they rude? You know what I mean? Are they intelligent? Do they study? Do they read? If we go for those qualities first and then we focus on the physical, I think that would also help us a lot. And I wish I'm laughing because it's, when I read this chapter, I was like, damn, I wish I would have had this when I was like 14, 15. Golly, I would have helped a brother out. Um, Man, I appreciate the comments, man. I'm trying to follow. It's a whole lot. Thank you. Um, S. Blaylock, be true to thyself. From my experience, if you live the life accordingly, it will show in everything you do, actions, words, and deeds. Islam, man, man, man. I I don't want to speak too much about myself, but I will say this: is that I was interested in a woman, And things was going cool, you know what I mean? And I appreciated her because she was saying a lot of the right things, you know what I mean? And and I was like, okay, okay. But what are the how about the actions? It's one thing to say it, but can you walk the walk though? And long story short, uh, hit a bit of a, let's say, a hiccup or a speed bump, if you will. You know what I mean? A pothole, if you will. Um, and it was time for, she spoke a lot about she loves being held accountable, for her actions, and she wants to work towards solutions. A lot of the positive things that I find valuable. But in the, what I mean, it's one thing to say it, but what happens when you're in the moment? And what I had to realize, when I was sitting back and just reflecting on things, it's like, talk the good game, but in terms of the actions and the deeds, the accountability wasn't quite there. You know what I mean? The willingness to work towards solutions wasn't there in actions and in real deeds. It sounds good, but if they not following through in the actions, if you can't see it in their daily life, ah, got to be careful. Got to be careful. Um, One Piece, you know about it. Sorry, that if you know about One Piece, you know. Let me focus. Let me focus. Understanding how others hear according to their energy and respect it. Megan Scott L. I believe that dating as a Moor is more or less finding a study buddy. I feel like most Moorish Americans is sapiosexual and need someone that's gonna help sharpen steel. Whew, my goodness, we going taking them to church. Well, not church. We taking them to the temple today, boy. It's a lot of truth being dropped in these comment sections. My goodness. My goodness. Yeah, I was just thinking before. Side note: before I came up with the title, I was like, man, what's a catchy name for like a Moorish Tinder? I was trying to come up with something, I couldn't come up with it. But a Moorish dating app is something that I definitely thought about. I was like, that would be interesting. Um, and Jerry Blaze Bay. Um, Attraction is same as vibration and or opposite attraction. So we must look within the woman to see who she is. Only then can we say we are attracted to her. Mm, mm. Yeah, that's real. That is real right there, man. Um, but that is, man, getting back focused. The one thing that I do feel the benefit of. Sorry about that. My son was hitting me with the FaceTime, man. My bad. I was saying that I think when you have knowledge that you're more, I think one of the great benefits of dating someone else who knows about more science and knows that they're more is that understanding. Is there's a level of understanding. But that was getting back to the sister. It was a sister that I was speaking with, and I wanted to make sure that I put this on the record because she said, and I was like, man, that's brilliant. She's saying that don't think that if you date a more, if you're more and that you date a more, just assume that it'll work. You know what I mean? I don't want you to think that, because that's not the case either. You know what I mean? Just because people are aware of more science and nationality and the principles doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be compatible and it's going to work out and it's just going to be, just magical. You know what I mean? Not to discourage or to make it feel like you'll never find it, but just to not be disillusioned, to not get into just believing, oh, it's just going to magically work out, because it doesn't. I don't think it works that way. But I did want to read this right here. But so I got this book called The Way of the Superior Man, David Deida. I don't know how you pronounce the name, but a powerful book. And I'm going to read a little bit from chapter 7. But I just wanted to highlight it first, if I could, with this one here, if I could find it. Because this is something I feel is important. Let's put on the record, man. It gives some context. Okay, here we go, right here. This is chapter chapter 19. Jesus takes the 6th degree and passed the 6th adept chamber of the Eastern sages. I'm sorry. I didn't introduce this. This is the mysteries of the silent brotherhood of the East. It's like a higher degree, some higher degrees of the Holy Quran. And I'm going to read just real quick, and I'm going to bring it back around because it is important. Yeah, the red book. How's the video? Is the video all right? Because it's looking kind of sketchy on the screen. I just want to make sure it's cool. Make sure y'all can hear me. Get back to this chapter real quick. Boom. Okay, so boom, this is chapter 19, right? And this is Jesus, basically, he's going through these different, a little choppy, huh? Dang. Oh, no. I damn near want to... damn near want to stop and start it over. Did that work at all? Okay, boom, cool. I teach. So in this part, real quick, Jesus had already gone through these different chambers, right? And he's passing these different tests. This one he gets through, right? It says, when Jesus had attained the victory over fear, he gained the right to enter here, this temple of the sun. And after passing many rich furnished rooms that reached the hall of harmony, Jesus was left alone. And in this room, Jesus sat in a thoughtful mood, inspecting it, when quietly a maiden of interesting beauty came into the hall. She did not seem to notice Jesus as he sat, and mused, so busy with his thoughts. She found her place beside the harpsichord. She touched the chords most gently, and she sang the songs of Israel. Okay. And Jesus was entranced. Now. Come on now, listen closer. This Jesus we talk about. He was entranced by the lady playing the harp, like, golly. Such beauty he had never seen. Such music he had never heard. The maiden sang her songs. She didn't seem to know that anyone was near, and she went her way. And Jesus, talking with himself, said, "What is the meaning of this incident? I did not know that such entrancing beauty and such queen-like loveliness were ever found among the sons of men. I did not know that the voice of an angel ever graced a human form. The seraphic music ever came from human lips. For days he sat in trance." My man Jesus was caught up, man. For days he was thinking about this thing. You feel me? The current of his thoughts was changed. He thought of nothing but the singer and her songs. He longed to see her once again, and after days she came. She spoke and laid her hand upon his head. And I don't want to read the whole chapter, but I get to the point of it. It says, "My Father sent me her to show the power of love divine, that love that reaches every living thing. Shall this pure universal love be all absorbed by carnal love? Shall I forget all creatures else and lose my life in this fair maiden? Though she is the highest type of beauty, purity, and love, into its very depths his soul was stirred. and long he wrestled with this angel idol of his heart. But when the day was almost lost, his higher ego rose in might. He found himself again, and then he said, "Although my heart shall break, I will not fail. I will not fall in this, my hardest task. I will be victor over carnal love." Mm, mm. And he says, "Fair one, your very presence thrills me with delight." This is Jesus talking. "Your voice is a benediction to my soul. My human self would fly with you and be contented in your love. But all the world is craving for a love that I have come to manifest. I must then bid you go, but we will meet again." Um, and then Jesus went on about his way to fulfill his task. Um, and the reason I read that is because in this book, chapter 7, it says, "Your purpose must come before your relationship." Every man knows that his highest purpose in life um, cannot be reduced to any particular relationship. If a man prioritizes his relationship over his highest purpose, he weakens himself, disservices the universe, and cheats his woman of an authentic man who can offer her full, undivided presence. Listen, I'm gonna just read this first paragraph. Admit to yourself that if you had to choose one or the other, the perfect intimate relationship or achieving your highest purpose in life, you would choose to succeed at your purpose. Just this self-knowledge often relieves much pressure a man feels to prioritize his relationship when in fact it is not his highest priority. Come on now. That's from the way of the superior man. Talking about the higher self. Come on now. Come on now. Somebody feel me out there. I say that to say intent, knowing yourself, really understanding what your purpose is, and then walking that path. And I feel when you do that first, and you really are set in stone in that, I feel the person that you're supposed to be with, or you're supposed to build a life with, um, that person will be on that road, uh, waiting or meeting you, along and helping you in that journey. Just as it says, back to the Quran real quick, just that it says that, um, speaking to the woman, "Remember, thou art made man's reasonable companion, not the slave of his passion. The end of thy being," meaning your whole principle, "is not merely to gratify his loose desire, but to assist him in the toils of life." Come on now, assist him. Um, so, I think to wrap it up, I'm saying, uh, know yourself, really figure out who you are, what your purpose is in life. Um, and I think it's very important to move with intention, to be honest and upfront with people. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, what you're looking for, what you're interested in. Um, I think those are very important keys in terms of dating. I really don't know outside of that how to go about it. Um, well, I will say this is that, just from personal experience, um, I believe that we should be much more selective about who we lay down with, to put it nicely. And the reason is because that exchange of energy is a very powerful thing. And the action is designed to create a whole nother life. And I think I think we often get caught up in our desires of the lower self, and uh, in doing so, we disrespect our higher self, and you know, the deeper meaning and purpose of being with someone, man, woman, man, woman. So yeah. Oh, yes. Matter of fact, I dropped a link before I close out. Um, Anybody had any other questions? Pardon me. Dang, that link is too. So it's the way of the superior man, David, Deida. That's the author. Um, Let me read these last ones. Overall, we owe one another a much greater amount of true love, true peace, true freedom, um, true truth, and justice. I feel that. I feel that. Um, Anything else? Yeah. Peace. Praise Allah. Yeah. Man, I'm kind of hungry, so I gotta get something to eat. Stomach growling. In closing, how to date it if you're more. Um, I would say take your time, young fellas, young ladies. Take your time. Please take your time. Get to know who they are as a person. Get to know their family. You know what I mean? Ask about their signs. Ask about nationality. Talk about religion. You know what I mean? Talk about Allah. See how they respond. You know, uh, take your time. Take your time. Uh, Yeah, that's the best I got. You know what I mean? I ain't got all the answers, but um, I hope that this was helpful. Uh, yeah, peace, much love to you, and study. If nothing else, man, study. You know what I mean? It don't hurt to do that. Don't hurt to do that. Um, yeah, I ain't really got much else. And if you, what I will say that if you out there, whoever you are, if you have some tips or some suggestions, guidance, wisdom about how to date as a Moor, or if you, in particular, if you grew up or familiar with Islam, please offer your perspective on how you go about, or not dating, but getting with someone when you're Muslim. Because we may not have to copy or do that, exactly the same way, but we can definitely look um, to Muslims and Islam for structure and for just some tips and some assistance. You know what I mean? Figuring this thing out. So much love to you. Thank you for the people that chimed in. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, that's all I got. Peace and much love to you.